All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night live stream. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. So as you guys can see in the description and the title, it looks like the broader markets are finally looking to have a healthy pullback. Now, before I say anything further about a potential pullback, let's take a look at the overnight futures market. Okay, so the S&P 500 or ES, okay, on the daily time frame. So if you guys remember, it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half actually, maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I gave you guys, or actually it was about a week and a half ago, but I gave you guys this kind of price structure that I've outlined here on the SPY futures daily time frame. And again, what is this price structure? We have this impulse move up, consolidation, impulse move up, and then consolidation. And then there was a third attempt to have a nice third impulsive leg up higher. But instead of doing that, what have we been doing? We've been moving sideways in a very, very tight coiled range. Okay, so that necessarily doesn't mean that we'll see a large pullback, but based on what we've gotten so far on this data, of all these data points, right, all this price action so far tells us that we could either be getting a nice pullback or some sideways consolidation that will lead into another leg up higher, and obviously into the end of the year rally, or the Santa Claus rally that we talked about. So this is going to be pretty interesting for the rest of the weeks that we have for this specific year. But again, initially right now, my analysis that I've told my members on Sunday night is that December usually starts out weak, right? The first early week to mid-December tends to be weak. And then right at the last half of December, or I would say even the even later half of December, we tend to get that nice big rally up into the end of the year. Okay, and so that's kind of my initial analysis that I'm holding right now, unless I'm proven wrong. But so far, again, the market so far has been really telling us that, hey, we want to pull back, right? On Wednesday, we got this nice inverted hammer candlestick, and then today we showed that continuation of that weakness throughout the entire day. And then at the end of the day, okay, now we go back to SPY. We decided to have a sudden jump up, a sudden squeeze, right? We saw a pretty good short squeeze at the end of the day. And so you might be scratching your head. Wait, so what happened? Or what just happened here? We just completely erased all the gains that we made, right? Now, before I tell you guys exactly what's happening here, so far the markets have been performing a very great sector rotation. Okay, and I've outlined this in the CFO Swing and Watch newsletter a couple weeks back, and this Sunday as well, Sunday night when the newsletter was sent out to my members. And so far, everything is playing out really, really well, as usual here. And we've been navigating these markets. Even if the overall broader market has been moving tightly, we have been able to identify and see which sectors are leading and lagging. And so far, the sector rotation and even just money rotation is clearly indicating that an intermittent market top is probably in before we see a Santa rally. Okay, and there are some specific sectors that you guys should be watching. That I will mention one sector before the end of this live stream. Okay, so my hot chocolate is very, very nice. Anyways, so I want to take this slow. All right, so SPY basically today, okay, we closed out for the entire month of November at highs, right? If you take a look at the monthly time frame for SPY, we have completely erased the past 3 months of losses in 1 month. This is huge, right? This is a very, very large move to the upside. And so there is a great chance that we can continuously see a continued run up throughout the entire year of 2024. Right, the entire year of 2024. All right, let that sink in. And remember, guys, who did you guys hear from first? When you guys heard about 2023 to 2026 being the actual years that you want to be actively involved in the markets? From me back in late 2022. Right, I believe I started saying that around October. So obviously, along with the fact that I was telling everyone that the market wasn't going to crash at October lows and even December lows, and no one believed me, right? I got dogged on for being bullish, right, at lows, and the fact that I wasn't with the rest of the crowd that the market was going to crash another 20%. Okay, so so far 2023 has been proven to be a very, very good setup year for the next 2 years. Okay, 2024, 2025, and then eventually 2026 is going to be the official end of my timeline that I've set up here for you guys. So make sure you guys are always paying attention. Now, for SPY here, with the end of the month here, this is a monthly candlestick for November. What we basically got was kind of a quote-unquote strategy that people tend to use called end of the month rebalancing. Right, it's just like the end of the year rebalancing, right? And this is where it's not too common, but this is where people buy at the end of the month and they sell into a brief pump in prices into the new month ahead, right? So maybe in the first few couple of days. So there is a possibility. Right, so with that type of situation, that quote-unquote strategy, there is a possibility that we can be seeing another higher high being set on the first few days of December, maybe even tomorrow, and then we see that nice large pullback into the early to mid weakness that we should be seeing on the month of December. Right, it's a seasonality trend on average. So this is going to be, if that does occur, that's going to have to slightly alter my timeline on whatever short positions that I have, but I will continue to see whether or not I want to add to that short position that are going to be profiting off of a early to mid December weakness. Okay, so that is a probability and possibility that could happen, what I just described to you guys here, with that potential of the end of the month rebalancing strategy to really affect the markets here. Because again, it already affected the markets today, right? At the last few minutes here. So actually the last 30 minutes, of the last day of November. So this end of the month rebalancing it's not really a popular strategy, but the end of the year rebalancing is obviously a lot more commonly known. But the fact that we've seen this sudden move up higher at the end of the month of November tells me that we're about to see some sort of a push higher into the first day of December, which is tomorrow on Friday, and possibly into the next few early trading days of December before we see that weakness. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so that is kind of my cautionary warning to myself as well. It's basically just a precaution to what I've been currently holding as a thesis and analysis, which I obviously explained to you guys already a few minutes ago. So make sure you guys are also keeping that as a precaution if you guys had the same analysis as me. Okay, so again for SPY, if we do see a pullback, we should be seeing a retest of 451.50, and at that point I should be able to see the daily 21 SMA catching up and retesting with 451.50 as well. So there should be a convergence point of the price hitting this support level at 451.50 along with the daily 21 SMA. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right. Oh, look at that. 3 likes. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been really showing the support on the live streams and the videos. So keep it up. It's really letting YouTube know that there are people watching my videos if you guys actually actively like and comment as well. So thank you guys so much for going out of your way to even do that. It really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it whenever you guys just make the time to just click that like button down below. Okay, so now, as I've said at the beginning of the live, we've been having a very healthy sector rotation. Okay, so whenever the market tends to kind of quote unquote top out, or we start to see very tight price ranges that we've been seeing the past couple of days, we start to see money flowing out of leaders and money flowing into laggards. And also we start to see growth, right? The growth sector seeing money outflow and that money starting to go into value sectors, right? And not even just value sectors, there are even just, even defensive sectors, for example, like energy or even real estate tend to start going up as well, okay? And all that occurs when the growth sector decides to either pause or decide to pull back. And we've been seeing that for a lot of the Magnificent Seven names, right? For example, Meta. Okay, Meta was a great short that I got on Tuesday, and then I added on Wednesday. You guys can see everything on my Twitter. I gave you guys a full breakdown on Meta, okay, I believe on Monday. And I told you guys that Meta should be seeing a retest of 325.50, which it did today, and that is where I took profits, even though I could have held a little longer. This is a little FOMO here, just a bit of FOMO on my side, but hey, I knew my profit target and I took it. Right? I'm proud of doing that. So yes, everyone has FOMO, guys. No surprise there. If someone tells you that, guys, that there's no way that I have FOMO, or that they themselves just they don't have FOMO, they don't know what FOMO is, they're lying. Everyone has FOMO, no matter how great of a trader you are, or even an investor, long-term investor. So Meta, this one's a little bit of FOMO, but hey, you know what? I captured this entire move down, and we hit that profit target of 325.50, and so we're good. Okay, so now let's talk about that specific sector that I mentioned earlier as well. So there's one specific sector, biotech, right? Biotech. So biotech has been on a tear, kind of. So it's been a very lagging sector for this entire year, and it's been making new lows, just like, for example, small caps, right? So based on market cap, small caps have been doing really horrible for this entire year, and now finally we're starting to see some relative strength coming in. And based on what I told my CFO Stream and Watch members and my private students a couple of weeks ago about small caps, they should understand why we are starting to focus more on small caps, and why the money is going more into these small caps and coming out of the larger caps, right? The larger cap stocks. So it's pretty interesting to see how the market always rotates so well in a very healthy way, especially when the market is very tight, in a very tight coiled range, or starting to form an intermittent top. But again, you guys should be following this as well, or you guys should have your eyes peeled open whenever you see these types of money and sector rotations. So XBI, or the biotech sector, is one specific sector that you guys should be watching for, as there is a sector rotation currently underway. And XBI is a great ticker to look at, but another great ticker to look at is IBB. So IBB here, if you go on the weekly time frame, all right, we have currently made a double bottom around 113. Okay, so this is a the immediate support. If you guys want to obviously connect the wicks here, okay, obviously 113.50 is the actual level, to be specific. But again, at this point, technical analysis becomes a bit subjective if you're trying to be very detailed. But again, 113.50, not much of a difference, only a 50-cent difference. You don't have to fight about it with other people online, right? But anyways, so IBB, good area of support from 113 to 113.50. But if we are seeing this sector rotation happening correctly, all right, if we start to see continued sector rotation out of the mega cap or larger cap stocks into more of the laggard and more defensive and more value sectors, we should be seeing the sector like biotech here, biotechnology, starting to see a nice uptrend, a nice reversal. Because again, this one has been having a horrible year so far for 2023. So there is a slight possibility that we can continue to run to the upside on the longer term perspective. And so if that is true, we should be seeing another big target for IBB here, or the biotechnology ETF, iShares biotechnology ETF, to hit 138.50. Now, what does this look like, guys? What is another ticker that this looks like? Well, actually, let me rephrase that. What other ticker, or I guess even market cap, looks similar to this specific chart on the biotech ETF weekly time frame? It's IWM. IWM, right? So IWM obviously has a lot more price history and data, especially with the retests. So it's had 3 retests or touches at this specific level of 198.50, or a huge supply area between 198.50 to 200. And so obviously, yes, IWM looks very, very similar to IBB or XBI or whatever ticker you guys want to use to look at the biotech sector. But as you guys can clearly tell and see, okay, we have what we call a triple bottom. Okay, and I've also mentioned this to my members a couple weeks ago, or about 4 weeks ago, about IWM potentially seeing a very, very large bounce around the demand area between 165.20 to 170.50. Okay, I have mentioned this multiple times as well in the public videos and even on my Instagram. So if you guys missed out, you guys should be paying attention if you guys missed out on that. So IWM here, okay, should also continue to move up into the December weakness and all day up into January. But there's an actual specific date that I'm looking at, which I won't tell you guys, but I've already told to my private CFO Stream and Watch members on Sunday and the week before that. So if you guys want that access early to all that data and information, make sure you guys DM me on Instagram. Okay, so again, IWM here looks very similar to XBI, and there's a lot of these lagging, quote-unquote lagging sectors that look very, very similar, right? XBI, IBB, same thing. Okay, so biotech is this sector that I'm mentioning tonight for you guys to look at. And so with IBB here, there's a potential for it to run into the new fiscal year of 2024 and be and hitting around 138.50. And again, this harkens back to the similarity to IWM, right? How it's hitting, well, it has hit 198.50 to 200, that supply area, that general supply area, 3 times already, right? So IBB might just be following in IWM's footsteps, right? So again, this is the broader outlook, right? The longer term perspective for IBB. And with that, let's take a look at the daily time frame for IBB. So the biotech sector had a great breakout today, a continuation breakout over 120. Obviously, I don't like how the candlestick is looking today, especially when a lot of the value sectors and a lot of the sectors that were experiencing the sector rotation and money inflow got a little bit weak at the end of the day as the overall market started to pump up higher due to that end of the month rebalancing that I just told you guys about 15 minutes ago. So with IBB here, I totally expect this one to continue to move higher. We're about to see the 10 and 21 SMAs crossing over this 118 support level and the daily 50 SMA level. And at some point, I'm going to expect it to continuously run up, okay, all the way up into 124.50 or at least 125. But this is the next major level of resistance, and I really want this one to hit 124.50, because if it does, it will fill in this gap down that we never filled in. And if you guys remember, that September 20th to September 21st are notorious dates. You guys will know what I'm saying if you guys remember. So, you know, if this retest comes, it will also prove that we were correct about the fact that biotech is looking to continuously run up into the end of the year and into the next fiscal year as well, because we will be making a higher high compared to this previous pivot high point. Okay, so far, currently, in this specific uptrend, we're making a very, very textbook uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. But this is the kind of the a little bit more of a longer term, maybe in the next 1 to 2 months trend here, our target for us to be able to break over this previous pivot high point sitting at 124.13. So I really want us to retest and hit this target of 124.50 on IBB. And just mind you guys, IBB tends to be a very, very wicky name. And even if it's going in an uptrend, it might have slight gap downs, big gap ups, big gap downs, or just very wicky days. And so you want to be in this one with patience, right? You want to be in this one with the longer term perspective in mind, which is the reason why I gave you guys that weekly time frame perspective first. Okay, so obviously the max profit target that I want to see for IBB will be 138.50 and somewhere around here. Okay, somewhere around in the next year. Okay, so hey, 5 likes. Wow, 3 to 5 likes. Awesome, guys. Thank you. So IBB, definitely a sector to be looking out for. Okay, and that is the one sector that I really want to show you guys today. And obviously, market cap wise, I wanted to look at IWM and the fact that we could be seeing potential continued relative strength into the potential weak start to December, right? So early to mid-December is what I'm expecting to see overall broader market weakness, while specifically the small market cap stocks are going to be doing extremely well. Okay, and all the while that's happening, okay, just to summarize everything, we'll be seeing continued money and sector rotation. Okay, just like I described, into defensive and value sectors. All right, so hopefully that was very, very helpful. Again, I just want to do a very, very quick live stream for Thursday, but hopefully you guys have a great rest of the week, and hopefully you guys are able to find something to trade tomorrow. It is the first day of December, so let's see if we are able to get that continued move down, or because of the fact that we just saw on the last 30 minutes of trading today, due to the end of the month rebalancing, let's see if we do get another pivot high point for the first few trading days of December before we see a finalized push down and we can officially see SPY hitting 451.50 as it says in the title. Okay, so that is it for tonight, guys. I bid you guys great luck. So far we've been navigating the markets perfectly this entire week and this entire year. And hopefully you guys have been able to enjoy the ride with us. But if you guys want to join the CFO Swing and Watch newsletter and the private CFO Discord community, make sure you guys DM me on either Twitter or Instagram at ChartsFocus1. Okay, have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching.